If you are on TikTok, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, please make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you spread the word and let people know the truth about the revelation. Let people know that we are here to speak the truth and to talk about things that are visible for us in the community and not too many people are talking about them. If you want to sit back, listen, or watch and check out what we have going on today, then ahlan wa sahlan, welcome, and thank you for being with us. If you think that this information is important for you, for your family, about protecting kids, and you really care about the community and you really care about the society, please let people know about the show. Thank you very much. This show is brought to you by Becca Foundation, BECKAH.org, your friends and your loved ones. So let's get to it directly as we were talking yesterday. Yesterday, we started off by reminding everybody that this life, this world that we are living in currently is dangerous. It's very dangerous. There are people out there that find it very amusing to take advantage of children, to take advantage of kids, innocent people. People find it very amusing to take away the lives of innocent souls. People find it very amusing to take advantage of innocent lives and innocent souls. And not only take advantage of them, but they actually would like to end their lives. And that's something that is very scary. That there are people that exist out there and they see what's going on in the world and they're laughing about it and they find it to be amusing for them and they are benefiting from it somehow. They are benefiting from it somehow because if they weren't benefiting from it, they won't be laughing about it. They won't be talking down about the people that are being hurt, the people that are being harmed by these kind of incidents that's currently happening throughout the world. And if we look around, we see that there is many places on earth that are definitely hurting and a lot of people out there that are definitely taking advantage of the children and the innocent ones. Today, my dear brothers, I would like to touch back on this specific topic, which is protecting our children, because it takes us to protect our children together, collectively, as a whole community, to take care of our families and friends. And the problems that we are facing today is a problem, or they are problems that are digital and that are real, like real life, tangible, that we are currently living. So, to begin with, we need to do a reality check. We need to do a reality check, my dear friends. We have to understand that there is something out there that's called drugs, that's called guns, and that's called violence. And mostly these violence come from groups of people that are called gangs. And these gangs, they exist, they're real, they're out there, and they currently are taking advantage of innocent people. And they are taking the lives of innocent people and mostly the young ones. So, reality check comes with a lot of statistics. And in order for us to believe what we're talking about and to believe how serious this problem is, we have to look at statistics. When it comes to drugs, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, My friends, in 2023, the US recorded over 107,000 overdoses, and in 2024, the number dropped to 80,391. But overdose is still the leading cause of death for people aged 18 to 44. So, in 2023, 107,000 overdose deaths happened. In 2024, 80,000. It dropped a little bit from 100,000 to 80,000. But the leading cause of death for people aged 18 to 44 is still overdose. Fentan, fentanyl. This is a name for a drug. Fentanyl is a very harmful drug that have been hitting people, and people have been overdosing on. A drug so strong that even a tiny amount would kill. So, my dear brothers, if you are listening, and if you feel this is an important topic, close to home, close to your family, close to your loved ones, make sure you let people know about this information. Whether you listen to this or not listen to this, make sure you let people know about this information. Guns, my dear brothers, guns is another killer in the community here in America. Firearms are now the leading cause of death for children and teens in the United States. In 2023, 2,581 children under the age of 18 died from gun-related incidents. And if you look back a couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks ago, about a couple of weeks ago, about the children that got killed by guns in Minneapolis. And things are still happening every day. This is an everyday ongoing problem. Nearly 4 times the number who drowned. 4 times. So people getting killed by guns is a factor that's killing everybody. Getting shot at, getting shot, getting hit up. It's a factor that's real, that's true, that everybody is probably not talking about much. Nearly 4 times the number of people who drowned. 2013 to 2022, firearm death rates among children increased to 106%. Gangs. What about gangs? Gangs, my dear brothers, my dear friends, my dear sisters, are estimated 30,000 in the US alone. 30,000 gangs. And each gang gives how many hundreds of people in each gang? With about 850,000 members. In schools, about 1 in 10 students aged 12 to 18 say they are gangs present in their school, which means these gangs are using these kids, these gangs are exploiting these kids, these gangs are harming these kids or threatening these kids to either join or do something for these kids, for these gangs. Sorry. So whether it's drugs, guns, or gangs, the numbers paint one picture, my dear brothers, my dear friends. Our youth are in danger. As much as we talk about this, I don't think we talk about this enough. I don't think we talk about this enough because if we talk about this enough and there's enough education out there about this information, then what happens? Then we would avoid and prevent these problems from happening. Who are the people in the gangs? Aren't they kids of someone, brothers of someone, friends of someone? Yeah, they are. Which means that they have been influenced or manipulated to become gang members. They have been influenced and manipulated to start a gang. Some of them, they want to belong to something, and that's why they start a gang. Some people want power, that's why they buy a gun. Some people want to have a different state of mind, and that's why they go for drugs. So, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, this information is very important. And I wanted to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by the Becca Foundation. If you go on our website, Becca, BECKAH.org, you find out the missions that Becca is upon. One of the main missions, most important mission, is to make sure this community come together to serve the community. The community got to serve the community. The community got to come together to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's on the right track. Why do we talk about kids much? Because, my dear brothers, kids are the innocent generation that's coming. If we don't preserve this generation, humanity is at risk. Humanity is just going to increasingly grow to be more violent and more violent until a day comes where humanity might take out its own self. Why? Because there's a lot of violence, and this violence is derived from issues like this. Now, we obviously are going to talk about the different issues that bring the violence out of people. But my dear brothers, my dear sisters, my dear listeners, my brothers in humanity, this problem is serious. Why the youth? Why the youth? Because the youth are very vulnerable and they're easily manipulated. So that's why predators take advantage of them. But why are the youth vulnerable, my dear brothers? My dear sisters, my friends, the parents who have kids, teachers. Some kids, or most of the kids, they want to fit in. They want to join some kind of group, some kind of party to be part of this culture. So peer pressure is one of the things that make these kids weaker. Wanting to fit in and be cool. They want to fit in and be cool. Sometimes these kids come from broken homes, which is a big deal. And a lot of predators, they look for this. They prey on this. Lack of supervision, or even the absence of supervision altogether, whether it's parents or whoever the supervisor is. Because at school, sometimes the supervisor is not present. They're supposed to have a supervisor who's present, first of all, fully here, but fully aware of the problem altogether. So that's where the issue comes in. Sometimes these kids are searching for belonging. Even if they do have a family, they have friends, they have, people that they talk to and stuff like that, but they are searching for something they can belong to. That's why sometimes they're looking for a group that would call them, or they would call these kids members. So gangs pretend to offer family and protection. That's when they call themselves family, and they say we're here for each other. We will be there for you forever and ever. But the truth is, there's an incentive. There's a reason. There's a reason why they're going to tell you all this, because they need you for something that they want you to do. Otherwise, why would they risk their lives? Why would they risk anything for you if it's not an issue that would benefit them? Another thing, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, my dear parents who have kids, boredom and the lack of safe outlets is a big reason for this. When kids don't have sports, community programs, or faith based activities, they fall into trouble right away. They will run into trouble. So that's why, my dear brothers, my dear friends, we have to have some kind of outlet for these kids, whether you are a parent that's watching or a teacher that's watching or listening. You have to realize that these kids need some kind of program to keep them active. These kids got a lot of energy. These kids got a lot of needs. What is it that they like? They like basketball. They like bike riding. They like horses. They like acting. They like wrestling. They like jogging. What do they like? Why don't you put them on something they like so they can invest their time into this thing that they like? Invest their time into something positive for their lives. Invest their time in something that would make things better for them and for the community. In the revelations from day one, since God, the Almighty, Allah, the Creator, created mankind, He sent prophets and messengers, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, all the way until our last and sealing messenger and prophet. His name is Muhammad, peace be upon him. He came right after the prophet Isa, who's also known as Jesus. All of them got revelations. And this specific revelation, which is called the Quran, says, and this is God saying, this is the Almighty speaking to us. He says, and do not kill yourselves or one another. Indeed, Allah is to you ever merciful. Allah is to you ever merciful. When youth fall into drugs, my dear brothers, when youth fall into gangs and violence, they are often unknowingly walking towards self-destruction. And that, my dear brothers, is scary for our society, for our community, for our mankind altogether. We cannot allow someone to walk into destruction while we're watching them and we act like nothing is happening. And we act like it's okay. I don't care. That's not me. It's not my kid. It's not my brother. It's not my friend. We all got to work together as a community to help each other. We mentioned warning signs, my dear brothers, for parents and communities altogether. Why? Because communities, they see the communities, they see what's going on out there. The communities, my dear brothers, they are responsible, just like the parents are. So we said and we mentioned that there are warning signs that we have to be watchful of, and we have to be very careful when we see these warning signs. We have to approach them carefully and make sure that we do not neglect these warning signs, because these warning signs are real and these warning signs are serious. But before we go into the warning signs, I want to remind everybody to go to Beckah.org, BECKAH.org, and go to the shop. We got a new shop, alhamdulillah, on that website. We urge everybody to go in and send us messages through there. If there's something that they like, if there's something that's not there and they want, please let them know, or let us know through that feedback, to so we can make sure that it's there. We have a shop for you guys to buy, look good and look cool. At the same time, it supports our mission. We have the shop for us. Instead of us supporting someone else, we rather support each other. So please go to the website, Beckah.org, and go to the shop. Is right on the top right corner. And make sure you share the live with everybody that you know. Make sure you share the website with everybody that you know, so that way this mission can get to everybody, inshallah. Warning signs. One of the warning signs, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, parents out there, teachers, one of the warning signs is sudden changes in friends and habits. We talked about this also in the digital world. We talked about this in the digital world, because there is a digital playground that's out there for kids, and they are all over it. So make sure that you let people know that these warning signs can happen in both worlds, in the digital world and in the physical world, in the real world. Sudden changes in friends and habits. Another thing is new items being bought, extra cash out of nowhere, and no explanation is being provided. When you ask your son, where'd you get that money from? Oh, I got it from a friend. Or they change the subject or something like that. That's a warning sign. Make sure you pay attention to this warning sign, because it's real. Who's giving this money to these kids and why? There's a reason why. Also, if you pay attention to your kids' grades, that's another sign that shows that these kids are being involved in something that's probably not good. And that's why their grades are falling. So they're starting to get failing grades in many things. They're starting to skip school, even if they're online. Be careful, because if they are online as well, they could be skipping classes that's online, or they have the screen open, but they don't know what's going on, and they don't know who's on, explaining the subject, but they're on a different screen talking to somebody, and or being secretive. Being secretive also is very big. It's a very big warning sign, because if you don't see these things, my dear brothers, my dear friends, the kids think if you don't see it, then there's nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? If my parents don't see it, there's nothing to worry about. So that's why they become secretive. and they are hiding and they don't want people to see what's going on, and they're not allowing you, the parent, or you, the teacher, to see what's happening. Another thing is mood swings. They are ready to fight with you. They don't like what's going on. They don't like who you are to ask them what's going on and why you're doing this, where you getting this from, and all that stuff. They don't like it. So they start getting mood swings. Then they start becoming paranoid all of a sudden. Paranoia kicks in, and then unexplained aggression starts happening. These are important warning signs, and there are many other warning signs that could be mentioned that I don't think we have enough time to mention all the warning signs. But these warning signs are for us to see, are for us to act upon. Because we are together as a community, as a family, like a body, like one body. Like the prophet, peace be upon him, said to us, the believers are like one body. And I actually also believe that all humanity should be like one body, because we all have something mutual with each other, which is our existence on this earth. We exist on this earth together, and we are benefiting from this earth together. So if someone tries to sink this boat that we are upon, we should all come together to stop that person from trying to sink this boat. And if we see part of our family or humanity family sinking, then we need to help them and save them. And that's why the prophet said, if one limb of this body suffers, the entire body will suffer and should feel it and should be with it as well. If one child in our community is falling into drugs or violence, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, my dear communities, we all should feel it. We all will feel it. If one of the kids is actually going down that ditch or that rabbit hole of being bad and being harmful to themselves and harmful to others, then as this kid grows, his or her problems will grow as well. That's why we need to be very careful. We need to be very careful when we see these warning signs to make sure we take action right away. Be nice about it. Be real about it. And be honest about it. Because the community is very impactful, and the community can help one another in situations like this. I swear to God. Back in the day, they used to say that the streets used to raise kids. But look at the people that came from back in the days and see how they are today. The streets really raise kids to be good in most of the communities. In some communities, they raise them to be bad. And the problem is, it happens. But communities raise kids. Really, communities and community centers, families and family gatherings and unions and stuff like that, they definitely raise kids. And if we are trying to raise a good community, then all of us as a community, as leaders, as members, as partners of these communities, we all need to come together to make sure that this community is growing good children. As much as we talk about this, I don't think we talk about this enough in our lives. I don't think we talk about this enough in our communities, in our mosques, in our churches, wherever you are, if you have a lifestyle that you feel like it is the correct lifestyle, then you need to be taking care of your community. Regardless what your lifestyle is, you have to be taking care of your community. The impact on communities with these problems that we already mentioned. Gun violence costs lives, but as lives are being lost, neighborhoods are being lost. Fear and trauma and loss of trust in these communities will happen. So communities will get affected by this, by these problems because guns, they don't just take lives of individuals only, but they take lives and lives and lives until neighborhoods are lost, communities are lost. Fear and trauma becomes the norm in these communities, and people don't want to be living around fear and trauma. And that's why, my dear brothers, guns impact communities altogether. Drug addictions destroys families. You find one person, a drug addict in a family, and they're willing to do anything to get the drugs. It doesn't matter what it takes. Even if they have to rob their own mother, they'll go for the money so they can get the drugs. It will destroy marriages, and it will destroy, if families are destroyed, marriages are destroyed, then the futures of children are destroyed. Gangs, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, is a combination of all this together. Gangs are a bunch of people that come together that don't care, that they only have one agenda, is for them to survive and for them to benefit. Gangs create cycles of crime that trap the entire generations. It starts off in a small generation. Everybody is very equal to each other as far as the age, as far as the habits, as far as the things that they like to do. And this is basically a generation being destroyed by this ideology that these kids have or their leader has. Because sometimes their leader is an old head and he's just recruiting younger folks to the point where he's just taking advantage of these younger folks. Youth in after school programs, my dear brothers, and this is statistics, you can look it up. They are 50% less likely to use drugs or be involved in violence. So this is good. So this is a key. This is a way of trapping these kids away from these bad outlets. So if you put your kids in after school programs, take them to the mosque, take them to a soccer game, take them to a basketball game, get them involved in things that they might like, then they will not be looking for alternatives. They will not be looking for things that would get them in trouble. These, my dear brothers, are not private problems that are only affecting individuals and maybe one or two families. No, these are problems that are affecting the entire community, the entire city. A lot of cities are being destroyed because of this. When our youth are unsafe, no home or community will truly be safe. Who would like to move into a neighborhood that's not safe? Who would like to put their kids in a school that's not safe? Who would like to even drive by a city or a community or a neighborhood that's not safe? Nobody. Nobody would do that, my dear brothers. Nobody would do that. Nobody would think about that, my dear brothers. And that's why safety. So, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, this issue is serious. This issue is for real. This is real life talk. This is real life, and we need to look for the solution. Our Creator gave us a solution for everything in His revelation. Why? Because He's the one that created us. And He knows exactly what drives us, He knows exactly what we're capable of, He knows exactly how we can be manipulated and how we can come back to the tracks, to the straight path, to the right track. So He sent us the revelation so we know who He is, the Creator. So we know how to live this life, so we know how to communicate with Him, our Creator. He created us. He put us on this earth. So if we have a question and we need answers, then we need to communicate with Him. We need to ask Him to help us. But in order for us to really have that feeling, we have to have that faith in our hearts. We need to have that faith, because faith, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, is a shield. So if we want to have a shield that is with us 24/7, then we have to have faith. We know that gangs always offer that family vibe, that belonging vibe, that vibe of, we're here for you. We're together. Our problem is your problem. Your problem is our problem. We always work together and always are going to help each other. But faith offers a real family within the community and the brotherhood. That's why every time someone submits to the Almighty, the Creator, he's a brother, she's a sister of this entire community of those who have submitted to the Lord, those who have submitted to the Creator, those who have submitted to the Almighty Allah. And sometimes people like to buy guns and have guns and hold guns. Why? Because they think they become powerful. They think nothing can stop them. They think nothing can stop them. I could talk to any man, any woman, any group, whoever. Nobody can stop me. I have a gun. That's what they think. But reality doesn't sink in that when you use that gun unlawfully, and you use that gun against your people, against your mankind, against your own people, against humanity, then you'll be the loser. You'll destroy your future. You'll destroy somebody else's future, somebody else's family. You'll destroy who might be a father to somebody, or a son to somebody, or a husband to somebody, or a wife, or a mother, or whoever. But if you really want power, you really want true power, then you need to get that strength from your faith, from your Lord, from the Creator. Have the character of someone who is strong. Stand up for wrong, or stand up against the wrong. Stand up for what's right, and stand up for humanity. Drugs, my dear brothers, also give you that false escape. And that's why I said, when you look at people who use drugs, when you look at people who buy drugs and who are always chasing after drugs and always chasing after the high, you find that they are trying to escape. And what are they escaping? They are escaping reality. But why would you want to escape reality? because they feel like there's something wrong in the reality that they live in. There's a connection that's missing. And what is that connection? It's the connection with their creator. Once you lose that connection with your creator, you will have an empty heart, an empty soul, an empty life. And that's why, my dear brothers, the remembrance of our creator is the best thing to do to keep your mind sane. The remembrance of Allah is the way to go. If you feel like you need to escape, but as long as you are connected with the Almighty Allah, with the Almighty God, then, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, there's no need to escape, because that's the most beautiful thing to do, is to have that remembrance of your creator. Remember all these blessings that this creator has put you through. And if you ever, and I heard this from a wise man, if you ever feel like desperate, depressed, stressed, you think life has taken a toll on you, you feel like you're losing it, grab a piece of paper and grab a pen. I know people don't like to do that anymore. If you don't like to do that, just grab your phone and write yourself a message. And start listing the things, start listing the blessings that are in your life. Start listing from A to Z everything that is a blessing in your life. List your eyesight. You can see. List the ability of either typing on your phone or writing using a pen or pencil. List all the blessings that God has put you through. Remember all these blessings. Once you remember all these blessings, your life is going to shine. Your chest is going to open up. You're able to breathe again. It's that simple. Just make sure you write these things with honesty. Look at everything that is a blessing in your life. And that will get your mind off of the negatives that is in your life. And remember who blessed you with all this. Who gave you this heart that's pumping nonstop? That's pumping nonstop. It doesn't matter what you do. This heart is going to keep pumping. This brain that you have up here, how it's working. These eyes that are working, seeing beautiful things nonstop. And your ears and your capability and ability to talk and taste food and all that good stuff. You probably won't be able to stop writing and stop typing. I swear to God. And that's the best thing to do if you are falling into these traps of shaitan, Satan, the devil. The devil always wants us to be upset. The devil always wants us to escape reality and the truth. And the truth is, we are in a beautiful blessing. The moment that we wake up until we go back to sleep, we are in a non-stop blessing, unlimited blessings. And we can't even count the blessings that God has given us. God told us in the Revelation that if you try to count the blessings that you are in, you won't be able to count them. He also tells us in the Revelation, and cooperate in righteousness and piety, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression. And that's what Shaitan wants us in. He wants us in the sin and the aggression rather than righteousness and piety. Why? Because if we are in the sin and aggression, we're losing connection with the Almighty, the Creator. And the moment that we lose that connection with the Almighty, the Creator, what happens? We become empty inside. Our souls are empty. And that's how we lose that connection. And that's how we start seeking alternatives like drugs or gangs or different activities that are not lawful, or at least in the eyes of God, they are not lawful. Our prophet also tells us that the strong believer is better and more beloved to his creator, Allah, than the weak believer, though there is good in both. So, strength, my dear brothers, escape, and getting where you need to be, my dear brothers, is not in violence, drugs, guns, gangs. It is in being strong in your heart, in your mind, and in your body as well. Hello, Nia. Hello. Thank you for joining. And that, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, is the reason for this type of show. Our mission here is to have a better community. Our mission here is to have a safer community. Our mission here is to have a stronger community. So make sure you listen, you tune in, and you show love to your community. We have practical solutions that has come from our creator through revelation. And these practical solutions, my dear brothers, starts off with families. My dear brothers, my dear parents, teachers, families, we gotta build that trust amongst each other. We have to build that trust between us and our kids. We have to build that trust between the teachers and their students. We have to build that trust so that these kids can actually feel safe to talk to you. And we have to pay attention to who's talking to our kids. We have to monitor, without spying, obviously. We have to monitor and know who these kids' friends are. Ask them. Who was that? Is that a friend that we know? Is that someone that we met before? They seem to be nice, Just know who these friends are. Try to figure out your kids' routines so you can also work with that routine and try to cooperate with them or incorporate this routine with your routine so that way you always engage with your kids somewhat. I know people have responsibilities. I know people got many things to do, but I honestly think that we all need to work together to make sure that we keep these kids safe. We have to model the behavior that you want to see in your kids. You have to do it. You have to be a model for them. You have to be an example for them. We all are doing a mistake because we're living this life for the first time. We're parenting for the first time. We're teaching for the first time. We're engaging in these different experiments for this first time. But at the same time, we're trying to do everything in the best way possible. We try to do everything the best way possible, but we look for guidance. Where do we find the guidance from? Where do we get the guidance from? Who is better to give us guidance than our Creator, the Almighty? Who's better to give us guidance than the revelation that He has sent us? Who's better to give us guidance than the messenger that He has sent us? That's why, my dear brothers, in the communities, in the mosques, in any place that is that God is being worshipped at, whatever you call your place that you worship at, you have to keep in mind the community, these kids, the new generations that's coming. Show them the truth about God. Show them the truth about life. Show them the truth about reality. We got to have youth programs for these kids. We got to have youth programs such as sports or mentorship or safe hangouts, schools. We all need to have prevention programs, such as this program that we are airing right now. This is literally a prevention program. This prevention program is to bring that knowledge to our families, to our loved ones. So, my dear brothers, at schools, you got to have some kind of program for these kids. Local leaders, you must push for safe streets and support for families. And as we know, all communities are built up by individuals. We have individuals. We have individuals in these communities. If it's 1 million people in this community, then there's 1 million individuals. So these individuals, they got to work on their own selves, and they got to make sure each one of them is a mentor for these kids. If you see someone drifting away, it's your responsibility to grab them. If you see someone doing wrong, you got to call them out. If you see someone hurting the children, you got to call them out. If you see someone harming the community, you got to call them out. This is your responsibility as an individual, regardless of your position in the community. If you are a leader, or if you are just a regular member, or if you're a parent or a teacher, or whoever you are. This is your responsibility, because together, me, you, and everybody else, we are together in this. And you can go online, Beckah.org, BECKAH.org, and find out about the missions that we are hosting and we are holding. And if you want to join us and help us make these missions come to life, then please come through, get on the website, send us your feedback, and don't forget to go on the shop to make sure you buy yourself something nice for your loved ones, for your kids, for your family members. Just a quick reflection on what we have talked about today. We saw and we mentioned a number that is a statistic, that is a real statistic, that there are about 80,000 overdose deaths that are happening amongst children, and thousands of other children that are being killed by guns, and hundreds of thousands of young people are exposed to gangs. And these problems are not small at all, my dear brothers, my dear sisters. These problems are really big. This is a crisis. This is a problem within our generation. They're not far away from us. They are here, they are in our communities, and even overseas. Children are being attacked by those who hate life. So we have to be very close to God. We have to have that connection with God the Almighty. And we need not to forget that our communities are in need for us. Our communities are in need for our protection from these dangers. We need to work with each other, get closer to God the Almighty, get closer to our revelation, read it, and seek the guidance throughout our revelation. Seek the guidance that was given to us by our Creator. This has been your boy Abdullah, right here on the Revert Show, coming to you directly through Becca Foundation